goes the dynamite. What's up, Chichi?
Boom goes the dynamite. I forgot about that guy. I wonder what he's doing right now. The
Dude,
Boom.
That was incredible. It was dude. Booney and I used to do stuff like that. Like if we'd have either a win or a loss. We'd be like, and here comes Wellesley, hit 2-run bomb, boom goes the dynamite.
well, hold on. Did you guys watch your highlights? Did you watch baseball tonight when you got home?
Yeah,
you did.
Of course, dude. I wanted, and when I sucked, I didn't. I remember, dude, the one time I got thrown out from left field, the old 5-7-3. That night, bro, my first at bat, I hit a bullet to left center. The center fielder, Brian Anderson, makes, dude, one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh, that was an incredible play. Then the next at bat, I come up and I get thrown out from left field. By the way, Tommy Pham joined the club the other night, too.
Dude, I did not say this to you because I know, like, that's not a fun moment in your career.
You know what? It is. The more I talk about, the funner it is. The more fun it is. So,
the more you separate. But somebody was like, Sean Casey should not watch TV tonight. And I'm like, that's actually pretty funny. Like,
well, dude, there's one other person. You know that, right?
Who?
3 people now.
Oh.
It happened last year, too.
Oh, I did not.
Dylan Moore. It happened to Dylan Moore of the Mariners. Hit a ball to left, thought it was trapped. Same thing. No one's getting thrown out from left if there's not an optical illusion somewhere.
No, absolutely.
I mean, no one's just hustling down the line and getting tossed out from left field.
Exactly, dude. Here's the one thing you'll never compete with. Like, I can't imagine Robin Ventura every year when they pull up the thing where Nolan Ryan just is
getting unloaded on. Yeah.
Yeah, I know he doesn't like that, so I wouldn't.
He was a great hitter, and everyone remembers him for that stuff. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But
people remember you for being a great hitter. They remember your home runs in World Series. They don't. Yeah, nobody really remembers.
They remember you getting thrown out from left too. You know what I mean? Anyway. But dude, listen, I was talking about we were talking about the Brian Anderson play.
Yeah.
And what was so funny was he makes that play, and then I get thrown out from left. That night, I go get wings with my buddy John Kanka, and we go out there to get wings, and we look up at the board, and they're like, play of the night, number 1 play of the night, Brian Anderson laying out. Number 1 play of the night. The top 10, then they go to the untop 10 of the night, and it's me getting thrown out from left. But I'm involved in both plays.
In both top 10 plays.
I'm involved in number 1 Anderson.
Yeah, they used to call it, when I was at ESPN, I was probably there when this happened. Top 10, and then they had bottom 10. The bottom 10 plays.
Yeah, the untop 10, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that? Were you there in 06?
Yes, I was just leaving, going to Cold Pizza at the time.
There you go, bro. There you go. You were there. You probably did that. You probably did the
the top 10 highlights. So, dude, one guy that's going on top 10 highlights for the rest of his career, our boy Jose Ramirez of Cleveland. It's funny. He's the best underrated player in history, maybe. Like, stop calling him underrated. Everybody says that all the time. We had on one of his teammates the other day.
Well, Aaron Boone says, quit calling him underrated.
Right? Yeah. And again, he's breaking records left and right. Cleveland history. When you pass Tris Speaker on a list, you're a superstar. You're a super duper star. So the thing we wanted to dive into today a little bit is switch hitting. The fact Ramirez is an all-timer, like, even numbers on both sides. I remember, like, Bernie Williams, it was like, oh, he's got all this power on a right-handed bat, and he's more average on a left-handed bat. This guy might be one of the greatest switch hitters of all time. Let's talk about him, and then we'll get into some of our historically favorite switch hitters.
Well, Austin Hedges said it the other day when he was inside the mayor's office, just about how impressive he is and how impressive it is that he's a switch hitter, and you wouldn't know if he's hitting right or left, because his splits are incredible. His splits, he looks like the exact same hitter from the right and left side, and like, that is not easy to do, man. I can't imagine Chinch preparing to play a big league game every single night as a left-handed hitter. There's so many things that go on in my mind, in my body. As far as my approach goes, I'm trying to go to left center. Like, the fact that I would have to get on the other side of the plate, think with the other side of my brain, with my other eye. I have a dominant eye, so if I'm right eye dominant as a lefty, I'm seeing pretty good here. But if I go as a righty now, do I have to open my stance to get my right eye dominant, eye on the ball? Am I trying to go to right center? Like Lance Berkman, you always talked about, he had a lot more pull power as a righty. So he would just, even when he did the home run derby, he did it as a right-hander because he felt like he had more power. But he had stupid power as a lefty too. But there was obviously two ways to think about it. Chipper Jones too. Remember, like Chipper Jones, watching him hit. It was like I think his splits were pretty similar too. But I felt like he had some real juice from the right hand side. Maybe was a better hitter lefty. But he was still locked in. One of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, and I don't know if you thought this too when you were coming up and you start playing in more elite baseball. Any of my friends who were switch hitters, I always used to feel for them when like the scouts would be like, "You're a lefty. You want to make it to the next level? You got to be exclusively lefty or exclusively righty." And I always looked at that and I'm like, "Man, that's got to be so annoying for anybody who's a switch hitter that somebody says, "Oh, you're much better as this than that." You have to fight through that probably in your recruiting process when you're growing up and things like that. I think that's extremely impressive to get to the big leagues by still being a switch hitter.
Yeah, that's a great point. Talk about a lot of times you have to let go of the noise and say to yourself, I can do this. I'm good enough. Your opinion's your opinion, but I'm going to prove that I can be a switch hitter. That's not an easy thing to do, especially when you start getting to the big league level, because there's usually one side. That's the whole point of Jose Ramirez. Usually on one side, you're sometimes a lot better than the other side, and the splits aren't even close. So sometimes the critics will come in and say, well, you should just go all left-handed. Or you should just go all right-handed because you're better that way. Well, that's not necessarily the case. You know what I mean? And but you think of other guys too, like Lance Berkman for me was one of the greatest switch hitters of all time. How good he was. I just felt like he could beat you both ways. In that category, he's like a Mickey Mantle too. I mean, Mantle was a guy. Hearing from my dad and all the guys that got to watch Mantle play, said just was phenomenal from both sides of the plate, and kind of made it look easy. You think about Steady Eddie Murray. I was talking with Billy Ripken the other day in our office at MLB Network, and I was, what made Eddie Murray so good? He's like, well, he wanted to play every day. He told me a story. He said Eddie was a big reason Cal's streak lived on, because when Cal first came to the big leagues, Eddie Murray says, hey, you play every night. I know Cal Sr. obviously was a big part of that too, but Eddie Murray reiterated, you at 70% is better than someone at 100% off the bench. You got to show up for your teammates every day. You got to make sure you're out there playing. And that's where Steady Eddie Murray got his name, was like, this guy played every night. I don't know if he had any more than 35 home runs in a year. He was legit from the right side of the plate, left side of the plate. And, that's not easy to do. So, you look at a guy like Jose Ramirez, you talk about all these great players, but who are some of the best switch hitters now, Chinch, in the game?
Oh, now in a game. Wait, hold on. Before we get to that, let me rip through this. This is a list that came up on MLB.com of if you put a lineup together with just switch hitters in history. Here it is, real quick. Ready?
Yeah.
Tim Raines is your leadoff hitter.
Tim Raines.
I forgot he was a switch hitter. Right? Roberto Alomar. Unreal. Same swing, both sides of the plate, which is interesting. Mickey is your center fielder, third. Chipper batting fourth. At third base, Eddie Murray at first, batting fifth. Berkman, they put as your DH sixth. By the way, you mentioned Mickey Mantle. In a modern era, Lance Berkman, here, I'm going to read this. Two good hitters in the lineup. In the modern era, Mantle is the only switch hitter with a higher career park-adjusted OPS plus than Berkman. Berkman, 293, 406, 537 with 366 home runs.
I'm sorry. How Lance Berkman's not in the Hall of Fame is a criminal.
We say that all the time. If you're going back to current, you got to put Francisco Lindor up there. And he's a shortstop, right?
Yeah. Oh, Lindor. Well, even off to a great start again. Almost won the MVP last year. Yeah, no doubt about it. Is he the best switch hitter in the game, probably?
I think he is right now.
Would you rather have him or Ramirez?
Shortstop, I gave it to Frankie. Just the position.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think it's 50-50. Can you imagine they were
as a hitter?
Just as a hitter? If I'm going hitter, I think Jose Ramirez is an all-time hitter.
Right.
I think Lindor is a better overall player, by a hair, by the way, just because of the position.
They were teammates for all those years, bro. We're talking.
Hey, can you imagine?
Forget about that.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You forget. Can you imagine going back to back in that lineup? How you navigated that lineup?
Dude, and I'm sure they influenced each other big time too. Like,
Super.
hitting in the same group, probably talking, switch hitting, all that kind of stuff. But I think with Ramirez, he almost went 40, 40, 40 last year, right? 40 bags, 40 doubles, 40 homers, I think.
Correct. Exactly. Now, next, when we talk next switch hitter, is it Elly De La Cruz for you?
Wait, Chingy, what'd you say?
When you go next, like who's next? Who's the next great switch hitter? Can Elly De La Cruz be that guy?
Oh, I think so, man. I really do. I think De La Cruz is going to be a generational type player, special. I think he's one of those guys where you can't teach experience. They brought him up young. He's a switch hitter. You're still learning yourself. You're learning both sides of the plate. He put up big numbers last year. I think he's only going to get better. I think the biggest thing with a guy like De La Cruz is mentally showing up every day, not wasting any pitches, being consistent. Your superstar players do that. The guys that put up the big numbers, they're better mentally than anybody else. I really believe that. I believe that they're able to show up pitch after pitch after pitch, which is a total skill. Because sometimes you see a guy like De La Cruz and some of the guys with the big talent, you're like, man, if that talent ever, got matched with the consistency of every single night, not wasting a pitch, that's when you see your superstar player. So I really believe Elly De La Cruz, man, he's going to be a superstar player, generational type player that when he really starts to navigate, all the experience that he's put together, I believe he's going to put together some monster seasons.
Yeah. Do you think it's tough for him where it's like, you think about how fast he is and how great of a base stealer he is. His whole life, people have been telling him to hit the ball a certain way because you need to be on base and I remember I was a little fast kid, so they told me how to hit. This is how you have to do it. Yeah, but he's so much bigger and so much stronger and has like 40 home run potential that it must be tough to teach him. Like, how would you teach him? You're a hitting coach. Like, how do you teach a guy who has all the skills? Like, if he just concentrated, everybody always says Ichiro could have hit 30 home runs, but he like focused his stuff on average and getting on base. But like, if you were coaching Elly De La Cruz, which is a tough question to ask, what are you teaching him about his swing and how he should approach being a hitter?
I'm not saying much about his swing. I'm teaching more process. I'm teaching more, let's hunt the fastball. Let's get pitches that we can hit. You're only as good as the pitch you swing at. Let's stay aggressive in the zone that we want. And let's do it every single pitch for 162 and then see where we're at at the end of the year. I wouldn't mess with it. I think his swings, elite. I think he's got great bat speed. I think he's as a heck of a player. For me, as a young player, I had to learn the process of an at-bat, the process of walks, the process of are they pitching to me, are they not pitching to me when I'm hot, the process of, if
slumping, the process of being in a slump.
Yeah, the process of, I never used the word slump, dude. Never used. It wasn't in my vocabulary. I used the word, I used to say to myself, I'm just in an adjustment period. Like, I'm in an adjustment period. Like, slump never came out of it because I never want to speak that into existence, a slump. But I do understand what you're saying. That adjustment period where you're not doing well. And I was sometimes in that adjustment period, it's not so much about your swing, but it's more about your approach. And what I mean by that is it's more about, can you slow down? It's more about, where are you swinging at the ball? Are you swinging at the ball down in the dirt, or are your eyes a little too elevated on that high fastball? I can't tell you how many times, Chinch, I got flipped in that adjustment period when I was struggling. I could turn it around quickly saying, hey, raise your sights. You're swinging at too many balls that are down. Let's raise our sights. Let's give them that strike at the knees down because you're chasing. And there was the times when I was chasing up. I mean, sometimes I'd swing at a ball at my head, and I'm like, what am I doing? And I would say to myself, hey, lower your sights. For whatever reason, my sights were high. Hey, lower your sights. Start giving them that upper rail heater until I get to 2 strikes, and then I'll battle. But at times I had to lower my sights and get him into a better area where I could do some damage. So sometimes that's where it goes. Like, and for a guy like Elly De La Cruz that has all the ability in the world, I would go there. Process of the at-bat, swinging at good pitches, swinging at pitches that you want, locking in on those, staying aggressive to that zone.
I love it, dude. That's great. Listen to Sean Casey. He knows what he's talking about. One last point. So we mentioned Lindor. Lindor 2 bombs again. Beat the Phillies. Mets and the Phillies right now. The Mets look great. I mean, Soto's starting to get hot, which very scary. Pete Alonso's having the best start to any career. and Lindor's being Lindor, and they got Senga back with that ghost pitch, whatever. How do you handicap that race right now, Mets Phillies?
Man, I think they're very evenly matched. Very evenly matched. One of the guys I love in that well, Senga being back is huge for them, no doubt about it. McGill's pitched well. They've done a great job, holding down the fort right now until Manaea gets back. But I love that lineup, dude. I love the Soto effect of Lindor, one, Soto, Alonso. Alonso's having a monster year so far. Soto's got off to a decent start. Not a Soto, but Lindor's off to a hot start. So that top of that lineup, I like. And Nimmo's swinging the bat well too. But you look at the Phillies, dude. Trey Turner hasn't even got it going yet. Harper's, getting it going. Schwarber's hitting bullets everywhere. Top to bottom, that lineup's really good. Nola's got us over a 6.5 ERA, I believe, so he hasn't really gotten settled in. So it's going to be a great race. They're two great teams. They're loaded in all facets of the game, and they're going to be battling all year long. So even in April, when you see a 5-4 Phillies game, man, that's 5-4 Mets Phillies. That's a fun place to be. And also too, the Braves got off to such a cold start. We were kind of talking about that, like, oh man, what's up with the Braves? Well, dude, if this is July and they were dominating, they went into a lull, you don't even notice it because it's the beginning of the year. You notice I think the Braves have rallied off 5 in a row, so they're going to be in the race. They're going to have a say in this race too. So the East is wide open, man.
The East is wide open. I think, though, right now at this moment in the season, which is too early to tell, but I think in the on the East Coast, first of all, it's mostly National League dominated by who's playing greatest. On the East Coast, Mets-Phillies rivalry is going to be what you're going to be watching all year long. And on the West Coast, it's the Padres and Dodgers are just out of their minds right now. And the Giants are hanging.
And the Diamondbacks.
And the Diamondbacks. Just let me do this real quick. Dodgers 16-7, Padres 16-7, Giants 15-8, Diamondbacks 13-9. If you're the Rockies, you need to pack it up tonight immediately. 4-17, by the way. So. Anyway,
hey,
all right. Hey, by the way,
Clint Hurdle under the radar is back as the hitting coach for the Rockies. That's great for them.
Isn't that amazing? Just wrote a book too, Clint Hurdle.
Great book. Go. If you love baseball, go get that book. It's called Hurdleisms. So good.
Yeah, and by the way, talking about like overcoming, like changing. I mean, this guy was one of the top prospects in the history of baseball, and went through a lot of adversity in his life. He's got. I still every once in a while get those texts that he sends out to group people that he's met all over his life. He's met people. And he'll send out these group inspirational texts, and you're like, Clint Hurdle just sent me the greatest text ever. I'm
so positive. Such a great guy, man. Clint's the best. He's the best.
Yeah, and speaking of positivity and all the stuff we just talked about in the show today, Sean Casey, Sunday night. You still have time to sign up for the Breakthrough Pro program.
April 27th. We're locking it in. If you sign up on April 27th, come for Breakthrough Pro. Your life will be impacted, no doubt about it. If you're a player, coach, whoever you are, parent, come join us because it's going to be an incredible 8 weeks, and we're really fired up for it.
Yeah, very excited about that, dude.
All right,
let's do it.
Love you, man.
All right, great. Which show are on today, real quick?
MLB
you were on
tonight. I'm on 5 to 8:30 MLB Network, and you can also get it on the MLB app. You can go to the MLB.com app, and then you get MLB Network on there now for you to look and stream that. And then I'm on MLB Central the next 3 days. So fired up, dude. Love being here, man.
Yeah, wait till D-Row tries to make you the hitting coach for the Team USA team tomorrow.
I think Junior's going to do it. He's a bigger name. He's a bigger name. All
right, brother.
Have a great rest of the day. Everyone out there, appreciate you listening. Subscribe, download. Don't forget, doesn't cost you anything. See you guys tomorrow.